So hello guys, and welcome to a Werewolf's perspective on the Wrathstone DLC patch, which should come in like 2 or 3 weeks. Should be episode 3, I think. Don't nail me down to this. And there have been some major changes, which kind of screwed my whole concept, but yeah, that's just sauce being sauce. So anyway, I made myself a cup of coffee, and let's dig into this. Let's see, includes several adjustments and fixes for the Wrathstone dungeon, blah blah blah. Racial passes. Yeah, tweaks. Let's just say they kind of screwed it up again. But, oh well, we will adjust. Let's just say Khajiit is going to be not good for Werewolf anymore. Let's put it at that. Clockwork City. Let's see. Okay, this is just some bug fixes of group and dungeon content. These are all bosses, I think, as far as I know, so nothing special here. Okay, here comes the important stuff. Fix an issue where you could become stuck on a single ability bar. Yeah, thank you. I've noticed that. I had that 1 or 2 times in PvP. Okay, these are bug fixes again on the PTS. Nothing. Your dog is... Oh, wow. Just for the people who don't know this off of their heart, Resilient and Critical Leech is in the red tree. Resilient is, I think, under the Steed. And it says when you take critical damage, you heal for 358 health. So that doesn't sound much, but this proc could proc Chalking and Earthgore, which meant that even if you were like nailed on the floor AFK, if somebody critted on you, you got an automatic proc of the Earthgore and Chalking that you were wearing. So this doesn't proc any sets anymore. Boom, no item sets will proc this anymore. That means that you actually have to have stuff like keep your rally going, keep your vigor going, and healers will have to what's it called, mutagen or rapid regeneration to keep that 24/7. That means the proccing conditions for these healing sets, which everybody is complaining about, will be a lot easier to counter. If he forgets to keep his rally up once, he'll immediately he won't get his Chalking proc. So that's actually pretty good. That's a nerf to those. Well, some people call it overpowered healing set. And Critical Leech, that is, I think, 1 tree to the right. That is in the Lady tree. That is when you deal direct critical damage, you heal for 400. That's like 200 in PvP, so irrelevant. But then again, if you had like a dot going on someone, and it critted, and you got Donnied like after that, you could use that to proc your Chalking, Earthcore, whatever. So, essentially, they kind of fucked up the Chalking on the Werewolf, because we relied on this passive to proc our Chalking. So that means either you run Lingering Health Pots and sacrifice a crap ton of the sustain, or you essentially don't get the Chalking proc whatsoever. There's no way you can proc it otherwise, unless you're wearing like Shieldless Crest or something. So yeah, this is actually a kind of a big hit for the people who use those kind of sets on Werewolf. I don't, thank God, I found other alternatives. So yeah, this doesn't affect us specifically, but this is kind of, well, not very nice. But yeah, there were a lot of people complaining about proc sets. So yeah, ZeniMax 1, Community 0. Let's just put it that way. The heal when no longer conditioned proc abilities. The heal from Shifting Strikes. Okay, that means if you're Nightblade, to be fair, you have to light attack. You can still use that to proc your Talking Sun. A Nightblade can still use it, but it has to stay offensive. Okay, this is actually a good step in the right direction. Because to be fair, you shouldn't proc a healing set off a passive. Okay, this is I know on a Sorc friend, this was an issue with my Sorc friend. He did complain about it, that it was getting stuck sometimes. Let's see, okay, bug fixes as usual. Okay, here comes a part which kind of pissed me off. Khajiit, the only good passive it had was the crit passive. Because unlike a Stam Sorc, you could get more crit surge procs. Yeah, you had a high chance of getting those, double crit combos on someone. Yeah, it's like, that's the only good thing they had. And then they had to screw it up because some people were complaining about it could having like 500 more DPS than the high elf and the perfect conditions under raid conditions. Which essentially is, well, kind of doable in PvE, but not really realistic for the people who actually like to PvP occasionally. Meaning myself. So, this is basically a nerf to any PvP player. Unless you're wearing like medium armor Hundings in PvP, which is close to suicidal. So, yeah. This is like a hard nerf to the Khajiit players in PvP. So this kind of fucked it up. Also, the spell crit, that means we won't get that passive. So essentially, Khajiit, completely useless for next patch. Well, moderately useless. But what it did like is what it did to the Wood Elf. So for the people who don't know, the Hunter's Eye was basically you got like 1.5k penetration. And you got like 10% extra speed. Which basically means, by them buffing it to like 6 seconds, because when you dodge, I think that takes like 1 second. That means 5 seconds of effectively. So on the Werewolf, if you do like dodge, you can dodge cancel the fear. Let me see, what was the name of that ability again? Okay, you can dodge cancel the ferocious roar. Then like succeed, you chase after them, heavy attack, and then Howl of Agony. You get that 1.5k penetration on your burst combo. It's probably going to be tricky to time, but I think that should be very doable. So yeah, this is actually very pleasant. This is very pleasant on the Wood Elf. This will actually make the last passive actually usable, somewhat. You have to play around it though. You actually have to adjust your playstyles to it. So that's pretty nice. Let's see, Imperial. What did they do to this? To all the things. Okay, this is not bad. 3% doesn't sound much, but it actually, you will feel it in PvP. So yeah, this looks Imperial is like solid class. It's like a bit of a weaker Nord if you ask me, but maybe that's just me. Khajiit, they completely screwed it up. I can't imagine. It will be like middle ground for PvE and essentially garbage for PvP. Completely garbage. Before it was like usable because of the extra crit. You got more critted vigor takes, better healing. In heavy armor Khajiits we had really good selfies. That's why I loved it so much. But after that, nah, probably I'm probably going to tend more to Wood Elf because that speed will give me a higher mobility in PvP, and the pen will actually also come in handy. So yeah, probably Wood Elf more for PvP next patch. So anyway, enough of the ranting. Figure no longer clips in. Okay, not interesting. Hulra Citadel. Okay, not interesting. That's Hulra Citadel. Okay, yay, we'll get more trash. Let's see, Schwickstem Schon map functionality. Change the function of achievements in Citadel Guide. Okay, nothing interesting there. Just see like an achievement hunter. So let's see. Fix an issue where there would rain. Okay, nothing interesting there. Randomly. More like all the time. But yeah, Mac clients. Well, if they can spend enough money for a Mac, they can probably import a gaming computer, so nothing special there. Let's see, Alliance where Marcos. Okay, yeah, I noticed that, but that was just like this minor annoyance. Honestly, they probably should have invested this more into fixing the main, basically the PvP performance issues, which the EU servers have been having in the last few days. So yeah, essentially to sum things up, basically. Khajiit being best in slot for Werewolf next patch went from being like best in slot because 80% extra spell crit would have been really nice on the Werewolf because to get our crit heals, but changing it to like a 10% critical damage and critical healing. I mean, on like a heavy armor Werewolf build, your crit ratio will usually not be higher than 30% at best, and that's usually with being a Khajiit, so 30 to 35%. It's really not worth it, honestly. Because you're sacrificing like a crap ton of regen and a lot more stamina in comparison to Wood Elf. If you really want to have a high max magic pool, you can probably go Dark Elf. So probably, let's see, to the amount of usable passives on the Werewolf, Wood Elf is number 1 because essentially every passive is usable. Dark Elf is going to be number 3. Number 2, Dark Elf is going to be like number 2. And I think for number 3, that's difficult. I would probably say like Orc, it only procs of Waffen abilities. If they would change it that it procs of of all attacks. Orc probably, but since they probably won't do that, I would dare to say that probably Imperial. Because you get back all 3 if you do like direct damage or something. So yeah, Wood Elf, Dark Elf, Imperial, and then maybe on a close 4th, because you get like you get like the 2 prismatic glyphs worth of resources and like half a jewelry enchant worth of stamina magical region. It's gonna be like less than I think probably like half, not even half. It's gonna be like a quarter of what the Wood Elf has stamina regen wise. I get like a bit more magical region, but yeah, they completely ruined this one, unfortunately. And they probably won't change it because ZeniMax usually doesn't change anything in the last week. They heard the complaints of like, oh boo hoo hoo, it's gonna be Khajiit's gonna be too much DPS. And so now they made it absolutely mediocre. Fantastic. Anyway, peace out guys. Hope you have a nice evening.